What's up YouTube? It's Dustin Hodges here, aka DJ01. Today I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to bring in a new sampling tool into my arsenal, the iPhone 6. So I'm going to be using GarageBand to do some preliminary sampling, and then I'm going to bring that into Logic, and then we'll see where it goes from there. Alright, check it out. Okay, so when I recently got my iPhone 6, I realized that they had a version of GarageBand on there. So I started doing some research and I found that you can actually import the GarageBand file from your iPhone 6 into Logic. So being that I use Logic quite a bit, I figured I would use today to try and capture some sounds, create a rough sketch on the iPhone, and then bring that in. So let's go ahead and take a look at GarageBand on the iPhone. And it does allow you to add multiple tracks here. If you go into the editing window, then you can actually see I can play out sounds as I go. Okay, so I was trying to think about the best way to do this, and I think I'm just gonna go ahead and kind of show you guys where I'm at with the beat, and then I'll kind of walk you back through what I did, because I really like what I'm working on so far. So first thing is I went ahead and started with a drum machine. Now, I had to make sure that I got my tempo where I wanted it. So it gives you some settings in here. It gives you tempo, key, time signature. I kept everything pretty basic, but I did move it from 110, where it's defaulting at, to 90 BPM. And I picked the house drum kit, and I went ahead and played out a really basic pattern. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and turn on the solo real quick, and then I'm just going to play the drum pattern that I picked, and I just made a really basic back pattern by just playing out in a 4-bar pattern, the same way I would on the MPC. I just played that out. So let's go ahead and move on, and let me turn off the solo there, and let's go back over here. And I went ahead and used a chord pattern to play out some really basic, nice sounding chords. Okay, that also leaves me a lot of opportunity to do some other things once I get inside of Logic. I played a real basic pattern, which I may modify a little bit once I get in there. Then my main drums here. Okay, and then I just freehand, I played some piano over that, so real basic. Okay, and you can hear the imperfections. I like that, you know, I kind of want that in there, you know, it makes it sound human. So that's it. That's where I'm at with the track so far. So let's go ahead and get that imported, and let's see if we can start working on it in the system. Okay, so now I got the beat imported out of the iPhone and into Logic, and I'm gonna go ahead and now try to do some shakers. I may do some scratching and start to beef up the drums a little bit, just to kind of see where it goes from here. Okay, so I got in the shaker, and I went ahead and I've been adding just, it took a few minutes to EQ a couple of things. You know, usually with the kick drums, I try and remove anything below like 50 Hertz, and that just kind of clears up some space for the bass to breathe a little bit. And then I also added the shaker. I looped that in a little 2-bar increment, because I wanted it to still have a little bit of human, but have kind of a consistent feel to it. So because this track is kind of a West Coast vibe now, I guess. It's not really how I intended it at first, but it's kind of turning into that, you know, mid-2000s Dr. Dre-ish sound. But it is very clean. I'm very happy with the drums that came out of the iPhone, so I'm gonna go ahead and leave those and just clean them up. And one thing that I do a lot is I add spatial enhancement to different sounds in different places. You know, if you think of your speakers as an image, you want to paint from one side of the canvas to the other, and a lot of people tend to just mix, and then you keep everything right down the middle. But you know, if you do a little spatial enhancement, then you give your tracks a little bit more room to breathe. So if we look at the Logic session so far, I'm running some compression, I'm also running some equalizers, and I'm running the built-in spread. Now that's just a 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz look at the spread itself, and I can lower the lower frequencies or I can lower the higher frequencies, because lower frequencies tend to travel in a much more 360-degree fashion. I tend to remove some of that, and then I can change the dispersion of the image itself, or the order. So I'm going to go ahead and just add some of that stuff onto what I've got going already, and just clean up the mix a little bit. And then I'm going to go ahead, I'm already hearing a sub bass in my head that I'll want to add in. And then after that I'll probably add in some scratching, and I'm kind of hearing a drum break. And we'll see how that turns out, and maybe I'll call it a day. Alright. Okay, so I got kind of a basic overview of the beat. It's just a loop right now. I'll probably sequence it out in a little bit, but I'm going to go ahead and just keep adding parts. And right now I just found kind of a cool little cut, and
about to make it hot.
It says about to make it hot, and it kind of fit just what's going on with the track, because it's kind of more of a West Coast club-ish type track. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and lay some cuts to that.
About to make it hot. 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 About to make it hot.